Alright, so as you can see, we're here with Mr. Armarouge, and he is a ability flash fire Pokemon. The reason why I want him to have flash fire is so we can dodge any fire damage. We have 284 defense, we have 332 special attack at 310 HP. We got him with Will-O-Wisp, Psychic Terrain, as well as Reflect, and then the Expanding Force. So it's kind of like more of a support-based Armarouge. I like this setup. I think it's good. I think that the Reflect plus the Will-O-Wisp pretty much guarantees that Cinderace doesn't do that much damage. One thing to take into consideration, I don't know if this is a fact, but it seems like it's a fact. Once Cinderace goes into that like terrestrialized form with a shield, seems like Will-O-Wisp just fails no matter what. That's what it seems like. I don't know if that's true, but every time I use Will-O-Wisp when he's in that terrestrialized form, it just fails. But beforehand, it usually succeeds. And for the most part, I usually go in, I pop up a Reflect. After doing a Reflect, I then follow it up with a Will-O-Wisp. That way, this guy is doing a lot less damage. Then we can hit the Psychic Terrain, and then we can do a little bit of damage, and then from there I just re-reflect after 5 turns. I think this is pretty much a necessary strategy. Somebody got to play support. It's usually you. It's usually me. As you can see, we also have some people here who are using Chilling Water. Chilling Water is a good move. It does a little bit of water damage, and it also lowers the target's attack. It's good enough. This game, as you can see, I'm the only Armarouge, but your boy Crocodile Man over there actually does do Hex or Will-O-Wisp or whatever, and actually does get the burn, which is actually pretty nice. I didn't think he was going to do that, and as you can see, I kind of wasted a space, or wasted a turn there. I'd say if you run this with multiple Armarouges, like I did one where it was me and another person was Armarouge, we were both playing like similar support. He was using Reflect, and I think he was using Clear Smog or something like that. It was really, really easy. So this map, this was the first time I did this where I was actually able to catch Cinderace. And as you can see, just from like the team dynamic, I'm putting out Reflect for the team. We also have Crocodile, who's doing a nice burn for the team. So, these things are very, very useful because it's not only helping yourself, but it's also helping your team. And then the Slowpokes are also doing Iron Defense, which is going to help with their defense. But it's not as good as Reflect plus Burn. If you do Reflect plus Burn, that's way, way, way better. And then the Psychic Terrain is just for the Psychic Pokemon. I've seen some people try to do this with like a Azumarill or even an Espeon or a I don't know what the Fairy EV type is called, but I've seen people use it. It hasn't been successful, and the reason why Espeon isn't great for this, despite the fact that they can use Reflect, and I think they could use Light Screen as well, but it's annoying having to do Light Screen and Reflect. It's just too much support. It's like it's very, very annoying. I think the reason why Armarouge works so well is because you're not going to be taking much damage from the fighting. You're not going to be taking any damage from the fire. And then when it comes to acrobatics, it's not hitting that hard. Like if he crits, yeah, it's going to hurt. But once you have the Reflect up, it should not kill. Even with crits, it'll probably take 3 with crits. And then once you have the Will-O-Wisp on, it's just a lot better. As you can see here, we're getting pretty good damage. I mean, the whole point of you playing like support Armarouge is to do a little bit of damage. You're not going to do crazy damage. I mean, I'm doing decent damage here. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not really buffing with Nasty Plot or anything like that. And I'm still doing okay damage because Expanding Force is more powerful when Psychic Terrain is on the field. But it's just the fact of the matter being that like it's way, way, way more important to get a Reflect on the field than it is to, do singular buffs to yourself. And as you can see here, Reflect was not on the field and I damn near died. And it's very, very useful and it's very, very good to have that Reflect because without it, once the Cinderace starts getting buffs, he can 1 or 2 shot you. And for me, I'm slower. I think my speed is like 218. I think in order to outspeed the Cinderace, I look at the stats after I catch him. I'm gonna guess his stats are similar to what Charizard was, where the speed was like 240-ish. So it's probably something similar to that. And as you can see here, he does use fighting moves sometimes. And because I was so low, I actually did die from that. You could also use Cinderace, but the way I build my Cinderace is a lot more aggressive. I guess you could use Cinderace just for context. The only thing is that I think that Armarouge is a better Psychic-type Pokemon. But the thing is with Cinderace is that he cannot be hit by fighting, and he cannot be hit by fire, and he cannot be hit by normal. So the only thing he can be hit by is the acrobatics. But from what I've seen, I don't think it's worth it to bring Cinderace because Bitter Blade is like your bread and butter. And you're not going to be doing crazy damage with it. I don't think it's worth it personally. I think it's better to bring Armarouge if you can build him like this where, you know, he has pretty high... and I just switched Expanding Force here just to get the KO. He has pretty high special attack and special defense. I did use Iron, and I also did use Calcium for the special attack plus, as well as the defense plus. But in general, Reflect plus the Will-O-Wisp is really good. And I think you need someone on the team doing this. Like I tried doing this a couple times with Espeon, who is pretty strong, and I did decent damage. But you know, even with a couple Calm Minds, like you're not gonna get to that reflect damage reduction fast enough, and it's just not worth it. And more times than not, I think out of the like 6 or 7 times I've attempted this raid, maybe once or twice there was another person playing support, like another Armarouge, or I mean Slowpoke with Chilling Waters is okay, but I think Armarouge with Reflect is probably the go-to thing, and I haven't seen it that much. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of context. It'll give you a better idea of what Pokemon to use here. You basically need some Pokemon with Reflect, and the reason why I chose Armarouge is 1, it's a good Psychic type, and 2, I have Flash Fire, so I'm not going to take fire damage, and I'm also going to be resisting the fighting moves that Cinderace has. So that pretty much covers it. I think I do take a look at the Cinderace stats here. If I'm not mistaken, the speed was like... I'm gonna guess the speed was like 240, similar to Charizard. Let me see. Oh, the speed's actually a lot better, 274. So, yeah, the stats for Cinderace seem to be very similar to like the legendaries, the 4 legendaries in this game, where it's basically high attack, high speed, and then it's kind of like medium-ish defense, you know, 180. I'd say anything under the 200, anything above 150 is kind of like I've averaged it below average. But there you go. Got the Cinderace, and pretty much was only possible using that Armarouge support